Hey everyone, today I'm summarizing The Breakdown by B.A. Pariza's psychological thriller about guilt, memory, and secrets. This is a spoiler-filled summary based on my take, so I won't cover every detail. If you're interested, the book link is in the description. Cass Anderson took the hard road one stormy night and saw a car parked by the side of the road. There was a woman inside. Cass pulled over but didn't get out of the car because she feared it might be a setup by robbers. So she stayed in her car for a while and waited for the other driver to signal that she needed help. But the other driver showed no signs of needing assistance, so Cass eventually drove off. The next day, Cass heard the news a woman had been murdered in the woods. It was the same woman she saw the night before, the woman she didn't help. Her conscience began to bother her. She met with her best friend, Rachel. Cass found it strange that she had forgotten the gift they had planned to give Susie. Rachel said she was the one who thought of the idea and even collected the money so she could be the one to buy it. Cass shamefully admitted to Rachel that she had forgotten what the gift was supposed to be. Cass became increasingly distracted as she thought about the murder, especially when she discovered that she actually knew the woman. Her name was Jane, and they had met at a party Rachel had taken her to. After that, they had planned to meet again for lunch. Cass told no one that she had seen Jane the night she was murdered because she was afraid people would judge her for not helping. She also became very anxious. Since Jane's murderer was still at large, she feared that the killer might come after her, especially if he had seen her when she passed by Jane's car that night. She began receiving silent phone calls multiple times a day and had a strong feeling that the caller was the murderer. She decided to meet with Rachel to talk about her worries. She also planned to finally tell her that she saw Jane that night, hoping it might ease her anxiety. By this time, Cass had already been diagnosed with early-stage dementia and had decided to quit her job as a teacher. Cass planned to arrive early for her dinner with Rachel, but when she got there, she saw Rachel already talking to John. John was Cass's colleague, and before she got married, he had pursued her. She found it strange that Rachel and John were meeting in a restaurant. Could they be hiding something from her? She started looking back at the events and began to suspect that John could be the murderer. John knew Jane through a sports connection. One time, when Cass was anxious and driving away in fear because she thought the murderer was near her house, she bumped into John on the road. There was also a time when she received another silent call, and in frustration, she yelled at the caller only to realize it was John, inviting her to a get-together. Cass didn't reveal herself while Rachel and John were talking, as she had already grown suspicious. When she returned to the restaurant, John was already gone, so she approached Rachel. Cass decided not to confide anything in her because she wasn't sure she could trust her. When Rachel asked why Cass wanted to meet, she simply said she needed help choosing a gift for her husband, Matthew. Rachel offered a few suggestions, then went to the bathroom. When she came back, she seemed to be in a hurry to leave. Cass stayed behind for a while after Rachel left. Suddenly, a French student, another customer at the restaurant, handed her a phone. He said it belonged to Rachel. Apparently, his classmates had dared him to take the phone from Rachel's bag without her noticing. Cass thanked the student and accepted the phone, though she was unsure if it really was Rachel's, as it was a very old model. She began going through the messages and confirmed that it was indeed Rachel's phone. To her surprise, most of the messages were about her. She dialed one of the numbers and listened to the voice on the other end. It was her husband, Matthew. The truth? Rachel and Matthew are having an affair. Cass isn't sure when it started, but based on their texts, it seems like it's been going on for a long time. The two of them had set Cass up. Everything she thought she had forgotten was actually part of a plan by Rachel and Matthew. Since Cass's mother had been diagnosed with dementia, it was easy for them to make Cass believe she had it too. Both Rachel and Matthew were also after Cass's inheritance from her mother. Rachel had been like a sister to Cass, so Cass believed it was only fair for her to receive a portion of the money, but in the end, Rachel got nothing. Matthew was also the silent caller. He did it to increase Cass's fear and anxiety. He even spiked her juice with her own medication, causing her to overdose. When that happened, it made her appear suicidal. As for the events Cass thought she forgot, both Matthew and Rachel made them seem believable. For example, Rachel made it appear that Cass had forgotten about Susie's gift, even though they had never actually talked about it. Rachel claimed she had collected the money, and when Cass got home, she found the money in her drawer, but it was actually Matthew who had put it there. As for John, he had met Rachel at the restaurant because Rachel wanted to tell him something. She told him about what was happening to Cass and how unstable she seemed at the moment. John felt it was disloyal of Rachel, as a friend, to share such personal information. Cass was stunned and angry at what she discovered from the text messages. She acted as if she didn't know anything until she figured out a plan to make Rachel and Matthew pay. Here's how she did it. She called the police and told them she had found the knife used to kill Jane in their garden. She had recognized the knife from a photo shown on TV. The knife had appeared earlier during one of Rachel, and Matthew's trick-sit came from Rachel. Matthew had placed it in the kitchen to make Cass more anxious, and then later replaced it with a smaller knife to make her think she was imagining things. The police began questioning Rachel and Matthew about their whereabouts while Cass pretended not to blame them. Instead, she simply continued giving information that would incriminate them. Eventually, Rachel and Matthew became suspects and were sent to jail. The truth is, Cass didn't know if either of them actually killed Jane. She just wanted to teach them a lesson. However, even though she didn't truly know who killed Jane, a detective visited her the next day to thank her for helping solve the case. He told her that someone had made a confession, Rachel, how Jane was killed. Rachel once mentioned that she had an argument with Jane over a parking space, but the truth was it had nothing to do with that. Jane had seen Rachel and Matthew having sex. Later, when Jane had lunch with Cass, she saw Matthew and recognized him. She then threatened Rachel, saying she would tell Cass about the affair if Rachel didn't end it. Rachel asked Jane to meet her in the woods to talk things through, claiming she wasn't ready to end the relationship yet. That meeting ended with Rachel killing Jane. When Cass passed by Jane's car that night, Jane saw her but didn't signal for help because she was actually waiting for Rachel. So, Cass had no reason to feel guilty about not getting out of the car that night. That's it for the breakdown by B.A. Paris. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, the purchase link is in the description. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my other summaries.